Hi everybody. My name is Steve Grumbine. I'm with Real Progressives. I am the founder of Real Progressives, and we are an organization that seeks to bring about a new deal, bring about Roosevelt's Second Bill of Rights, and bring about all the things that Bernie Sanders talked about during his primaries, as well as Jill Stein. We have a huge coalition of people that want the same things. We've been balkanized by a little identity here, a little bit of an identity there, but we're all one. We're all in that 99%. And every one of us lives and breathes. Every one of us has a heart. Every one of us has lungs. And every one of us needs health care. And, you know, Republicans love their kids too. Let's not forget that. They just don't understand economics. And we have a deficit in this country, and it's not a fiscal deficit. It's a knowledge deficit of how our monetary system works and how it can be leveraged to bring about not just onesie, twosie programs, but a massive revitalization of America, to bring about imagination and to allow people to consider what if. Years ago, we didn't question whether or not we could afford to go to the moon. We didn't question whether or not we could go to war in the Second World War. And nobody questions whether or not we can afford to bomb 7 nations right now. We have carte blanche when it comes to bombing the world. And we never ask, how are you going to pay for it? We never ask, are we going to have inflation if we drop another bomb? You never hear them talking about whether or not we can afford it. Nor should we be asking whether we can afford Medicare for all. Folks, one of the greatest myths we've ever been told is that the United States is broke. We've been told somehow or another we're in debt to China. And you watch these videos of Obama saying, what are we going to do? Take out a credit card from the People's Bank of China? And he was lying. Just like every other person across the way. Our nation is what we call monetarily sovereign. In other words, we create our own money. So we don't need to borrow US dollars from China. Think about how absurd that is on its face. Think about the fact that we had a huge chunk of ice just break off Antarctica because of environmental crisis. Think about the fact that we've got people hanging themselves because of a lack of employment. Think about the fact that people kill themselves because there's no hope. Folks, I'm here to tell you there's hope. There is real, substantive hope. Bernie Sanders came into town with a wonderful economist named Stephanie Kelton. Stephanie Kelton speaks of what they call modern monetary theory, which is the description of our monetary system since 1971, when we left the gold standard and we went on to a sovereign free-floating fiat currency. Now, instead of allowing the 1% to use it to blow up the world, we can use it instead to save lives today. And that is exactly what Real Progressives is pushing, to save lives today, to save the planet, to make our planet inhabitable for our children. And as part of that, Medicare for all is a key linchpin to doing exactly that. Folks, we could have even better than that, but let's just go with what we can get. Medicare for all is a tremendous opportunity for all of us to begin to lead a life without fear. How many of you all have been afraid to lose your job? How many of you have been afraid, God forbid, that you run into a calamity, some sort of physical ailment, a disease? Folks, it doesn't have to be this way. And if we get passionate and we organize at the local level and we work together and we take our labels and we get rid of them and we focus on humanity, we can change this world. Folks, our enemy is not just capitalism or the Republicans or whatever. It is a global scourge called neoliberalism. And neoliberalism has got to be defeated at all costs. Neoliberalism has devastated lives. Folks, full disclosure, I was once a Republican. I have 2 master's degrees, Master of Business Administration and Master of Science in Technology Management. And the sun always shined on me until it didn't. And when it didn't, it came crashing down in a way that I can only describe as cataclysmic, devastating. I sized up the rafters to see whether or not it was time to leave this earth. It was devastating. And I have family, I have friends, I have abilities to survive through this that others don't. Folks, we live in a cruel world that doesn't have to be that way. It is up to us to be that shining light and to tell everyone that we too can have health care as a right. The rest of the world has it. There's no reason we cannot have it. None. So as you think about what's on TV, you think about what you're going to do for your summer vacations, you think about different things you're going to do, don't forget to call your senators. Don't forget to call your congresspeople. Don't forget to talk to a neighbor. Don't forget to share something on social media. And don't forget that this is possible, that we can do this. This is not pie in the sky. And let me tell you something else. This is but one small thing. What about a federal job guarantee? What about green energy? What about an infrastructure bill? What about getting rid of student debt forever? Folks, I'm telling you, our imaginations are tainted with the limitations of neoliberalism, and it's time to unshackle them. Folks, the term you want to get to know is modern monetary theory. It is not a theory at all, it's a description of the way our current federal financing works and currency works all around the globe. Get to know it. Get to know Stephanie Kelton. And by all means, come to Real Progressives, and we'll continue to advance this fight with you one by one. And I want to thank you, Michelangelo. You are an inspiration to me, sir. I had no idea everything you put into this, and I want to thank you. And Beverly, thank you for inviting me. And Michael, thank you for inviting me. And to the other folks that are going to be on here, thank you, Margaret Flowers. Thank you, Rokana. And most importantly, I can't wait to hear Nina, but thank you all for having me. Good day, everybody.